The parole board has been meeting behind us to discuss the fate of several parolees, among them 65-year-old Mark Haydon. Now, he is one of 4 men convicted over the so-called Snowtown murders. He wasn't actually found guilty of murder, but he was found guilty of 7 counts of assisting the offenders and of hiding the bodies. Now, in terms of the hearing today, we're not expecting to learn Haydon's fate, but we have heard from the chair of the board in the past. She believes that he has shown contrition and that he has been a model prisoner, and we expect that we will learn about Haydon's fate potentially as early as tomorrow. Now, this all comes as the government rushed legislation into the parliament to close what it sees as a loophole that the Haydon case has exposed. An impending release, the catalyst for urgent changes to the law. The state government's amendments to high-risk offender legislation passed the lower house this morning in just half an hour.
The ayes have it.
The changes are designed to make it easier for prisoners like Mark Haydon to be deemed high-risk offenders before they're released into the community. Under the existing legal framework, some experts say Haydon would likely not fall into that category.
What this case has done is shone a spotlight on what we think is a gap in the law, that someone who assists after the offence isn't automatically captured in the same way that someone who assists before an offence is. So that's why we're bringing this legislation into Parliament to make sure people like that are captured.
The government's amendments broaden the definition of high-risk offenders.
Not a significant change of legislation, actually. I guess we were surprised by that in some ways.
The government says the new law hasn't been created specifically for Haydon, but legal scholar Rick Sarr says the link is irrefutable.
This is legislation essentially written for one man.
Currently, once his 25-year sentence expires in May, Haydon would be released without any restrictions or monitoring.
Francis Nelson, head of the parole board, is saying he's not a violent man. Essentially, he did something very vile 25 years ago. He's paid his price. Let him go.
The state government, though, has confirmed it will ask the Supreme Court to impose an extended supervision order under the high-risk offender legislation. Its success could hinge on whether the amendments to broaden those laws now before Parliament are passed.
This is really an idea that the government is floating. It's not a guarantee there will be restrictions on Haydon. Even though they've lowered the bar, the Supreme Court ultimately has that decision.
The bill will go before Parliament's upper house on Thursday. James Wakelin, ABC News.